could go so far as to indicate that he'd be open to it being a reserve currency for the U.S.?
Yeah, so there were some rumblings of that on X this week. It could be something that's very difficult to get done, but it is possible. The Justice Department holds about 200,000 units of Bitcoin. So the United States is the largest holder of Bitcoin. And so they could easily just move that over to the Department of Treasury and start right there and have 13 billion worth of Bitcoin on the balance sheet. So it is a possible move. It just could be tough to get done. But what happens is the Justice Department, in holding these units of Bitcoin, they've been a random seller in the space. And so if they move from being a random seller at times, which could push the price of Bitcoin down, over to being a long-term hodler, well, that could be really good for the space and push prices up. About a month ago, Trump met with some of the Bitcoin miners, and we think he really got educated on the space. He got educated on how the inner workings happen, about blockchain, and how transactions are verified. And when he goes to speak at this conference at the end of next week, he is going to talk about helping out smooth regulations for crypto. There's been a lot of headwinds in the space. A lot of those came from Gary Gensler. There's been a lot of roadblocks, and you're going to see him come out and say, hey, let's help innovation here. Let's help Bitcoin and blockchain progress. And so, yeah, he's going to speak very positively about Bitcoin here at the conference. So Bitcoin mining, it moves around quickly to the place where it could find the cheapest energy. And at times it's Texas, and it's moved to New York, and it's moved to Wyoming, and it goes back to Texas. And so it really depends on striking these energy deals. And so in a pro-business environment, if Trump is able to lower these energy costs for these miners will then be able to hold more Bitcoin on their balance sheet, further reducing the supply that's available to acquire on open exchanges of Bitcoin. And that could further reinforce the price and help it go up and higher. It would be impossible to mine all Bitcoin in the United States. It's great that he's saying it and, make America great again. And it really will help innovation. It's just too hard to do. There's a wide diversification of miners. They're spread all across the world, and it really goes to where is energy the cheapest. And if you could even put free energy here, another country will give incentives to have Bitcoins mined in their country. It's just something that won't get done. 100% of the Bitcoins mined in the United States won't happen, but more of it happening here by many different companies is always better for the space.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And I come back with that video just to make you think.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And make sure you join the Patrons. If you're not a part of the Patrons, guys, make sure you're hitting the Cash App. And don't forget to like and follow the TikTok. Now we have Trump at the Bitcoin conference. And if everything goes smoothly, and he does appear, guys, we know Bitcoin and crypto is going to be on the main stage. And we have CNBC host, as can Bitcoin be a reserve currency? And guys, we know it definitely can't be. But what it can be is a reserve currency to the robots, algorithms, and drones. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you. And we have Bitcoin mining. And guys, remember, Bitcoin mining taking up all the energy. Bitcoin mining needs to stop. And then all of a sudden we have AI take over. And then they talk about these data centers and all the energy that is going to need. And Trump says he wants the Bitcoin mining, wants all of it. Any Bitcoin mine, he wanted in the U.S. But guys, we know that's impossible. But also, we never heard about all the Bitcoin that China had mined. You never heard any of it. But don't forget, guys, they want us off the towers. They want us off the grids for the robots, algorithms, and drones. They want us to use the alternative energy that's going to be spotty. They want our phones to work off satellite. But since Trump has been back in the picture, what has he been doing, guys? Selling. He's had them heels on and he's been strutting. When it comes to shoes, NFTs, cryptos, ticket sales, he's making plenty of money. And we know Trump is one of the greatest salespeople. And then we have CrowdStrike and Microsoft outage. And guys, this affected everyone globally. And anytime you have an outage this big, there's something bigger going on. Guys, we know one thing we have to do is sit back, get your popcorn, and let it play out, because they stated this was the biggest outage in history. And anytime we hear those two words, in history, there's a crisis around the corner. We know they have to let some of this air out the bubble because all this government spending has to end. The United States World Reserve currency is over. 2025 to 2029, this new president is going to lead us in this fourth industrial revolution. And remember, the crypto teacher told you, because he knows when it comes to the NWO, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
And the price of Bitcoin also jumped this week following the failed assassination attempt of Donald Trump last weekend. Investors see an increased chance of a Trump victory in the upcoming presidential election, which impacted crypto prices given his recent pro-crypto stance. On top of that, this week Trump announced he chose crypto-friendly Senator J.D. Vance as his vice presidential candidate. Sticking with Trump as we take a look at today's top stories, the Republican nominee for president is hosting a campaign fundraiser in Nashville next week when he's there for the Bitcoin conference. And get this, the top ticket is going for a whopping $844,600 per person. According to an invitation shared with CNBC, the fundraiser will take place on Saturday, July 27th, the same day Trump is scheduled to address attendees at Bitcoin 2024, one of the country's biggest gatherings for crypto enthusiasts. Now, the top-tier tickets include a seat at a round table with Trump and are priced at the maximum donation amount allowed. The next level down includes a photo with the former president. The price tag? $60,000 or $100,000 per couple. Now, this year, Trump is the keynote speaker at Bitcoin 2024, where his appearance caps off a personal about-face from crypto skeptic to crypto champion. In May, his campaign announced that it was starting to accept crypto donations, and it has already received significant contributions from big names in the industry, including the Winklevoss twins, who created the crypto exchange Gemini. By the way, we'll be at Bitcoin 2024 in Nashville next week, and we'll bring you interviews with politicians and industry insiders from the conference.
Well, there's a black eye moment for CrowdStrike, and I'd say for the cybersecurity sector. Now, the damage, look, it's going to be weeks, months, potentially years in terms of understanding the damage. The big issue is the brand damage, because CrowdStrike today becomes a household name, but not in a good way. Look, George and the team, I don't think this changes the long-term story, but other competitors, Palo Alto and others across, they will try to take advantage of this. That'll be a big focus in the sector.
Do you think that there is a liability issue here? Meaning if you're an airline, like an American airline or whoever, where there's a ground stoppage and they're losing money as those planes are sitting on the tarmac, can they go ahead and sue CrowdStrike?
If you're a lawyer for CrowdStrike, I don't think you're going to be seeing the beach this summer, because this is going to be coming from probably all angles, right? Legally, not just airports, transportation companies. Now, look, Microsoft needs to figure it out from their angle. Now, they're more, I'd say a victim here relative to what happened on the Windows side. So I think less of an issue for Microsoft. Look, for CrowdStrike, you're talking about a company that prides itself on brand. F1, globally, anyone that's seen them at airports. And this is just, look, it's an epic disaster. It's something we've really never seen in the cybersecurity industry at this scale. So this is a bit unprecedented.
Going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology. So it's going to be CBDC in a box provided to you by the People's Bank of China.
But every stock, every bond, every currency, every commodity, every piece of art, every private business, every piece of real estate will eventually be a token on a blockchain an entry on a ledger, permanent and immutable. We will have truth instead of trust, and we will save over $7 trillion a year. 6 to 8% of global GDP is wasted by the friction of the trust industry that's necessary when you have dual entry accounting. With triple entry accounting, which is what a blockchain is, we get rid of all of that friction. It's a beautiful future.
Like what you see in China and their social credit scoring systems, right? If we get identity wrong, it could be a tool to enslave humanity. And if we get it right, it could be a tool to liberate humanity. And as an American, I'm obviously rooting for the one that's on the side of freedom.
Bitcoin is an international asset. And also, I do believe the role of crypto is, it's digitizing gold.
I actually believe this technology is going to be very important. Look at it. We have been part of a huge revolution in investing through ETFs. We believe that ETFs will be changing the whole way we invest. Many people still use it as a means, people are investing it for indexing. No, the majority of people who are putting money in in ETFs are active investors that are buying exposure. The entire bond market is being transformed as we talk right now. I believe the next generation for markets, the next generation for securities will be tokenization of securities. And if we could have that distributed ledger that we know every beneficial owner, every beneficial seller, we all have our code of who's buying, who's selling, instantaneous settlement. And think about it, it changes the whole ecosystem.
Chinese bank ICBC has been hit by a ransomware attack, and the U.S. Treasury market, as a result of that, has been disrupted. This, according to the Financial Times. We're getting it more right now with Bloomberg's Shonali Bassick. Shonali, what do we know?
Listen, we have the Financial Times now reporting that ICBC, one of China's largest banks here, was hit with a ransomware attack. And remember, they're a very significant intermediary in the Treasury market. The SIFMA has told its members that this has been part of the reason here that the system is kind of clogged up, if you will, during that auction that we saw a little bit before. The attack had prevented ICBC, according to the Financial Times, from settling Treasury trades on behalf of other market participants. A large executive at a major bank also telling the paper that such a large party on the fixed income clearing corp creates major concerns, potentially impacting the liquidity of Treasury markets.
Now, it was not just a poor auction. It was absolutely lousy, and when the dealers have to step in to save a treasury auction, that's a rare occurrence. And
Cryptoteacher and the new World Order book, plus the 3 kids books. It's time to re-educate. Also, new to cryptos, Coinbase, Bitrue, Binance. Do not forget book links and crypto links are in the description. The stock channel, guys. Don't forget to go like, subscribe, spread everywhere. You have your Kobo, your chip stocks, your banking, your gaming. While everybody's sitting at home, get on stocks, the Seaver, the biotech stocks. And while everybody's at home wishing, they were still getting that free money. What are they doing? Drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks, and you have a wonderful day. The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, you know I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids books. You know I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save New York from COVID Stories 3. Part 3. King Joshua and Grandma Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.